I will never let your legacy die, Charlie Kirk's widow gives tearful address after shooting. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika, has given a tearful address in which she thanked first responders for trying to save her husband's life after he was fatally shot on a Utah University campus. In a live stream, standing beside her husband's empty chair that he used during podcast tapings, she quoted the Bible and spoke about his love for President Donald Trump, Vice President JD Vance, the United States and the couple's 2 children. Kirk, a right-wing activist, was shot dead on Wednesday during an open-air speaking event in Orem, Utah. His suspected killer, Tyler Robinson, was arrested on Thursday night after surrendering to police. In her remarks, Mrs. Kirk pledged, "My husband's voice will remain." The broadcast from Turning Point USA's headquarters in Arizona began with several minutes of silence, as the camera framed Charlie Kirk's empty chair. As his widow started speaking, she looked upwards and whispered a silent prayer. She then thanked first responders who tried to save him, her husband's staff, and the White House. "Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too," she said tearfully, also thanking Vance and his wife Usha for accompanying the casket back to Arizona. "But most of all, Charlie loved his children. And he loved me. With all his heart. And he made sure I knew that every day." Addressing evildoers, Mrs. Kirk said, "You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world." Her husband's tour of U.S. university campuses will continue throughout the autumn, and in the years to come, she said, without offering further details. His podcast will also continue. Mrs. Kirk also spoke of their 1-year-old son and 3-year-old daughter, saying that she was at a loss for how to explain their father's sudden death. "Baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus," she told their daughter. Mrs. Kirk, 36, and their children were reportedly in the audience when her husband was shot. The conservative influencer who rallied a youth movement. Who is Tyler Robinson, the shooting suspect? Erika Kirk is a businesswoman and former Miss Arizona USA winner, who met her husband in 2018. The couple were engaged by 2020 and wed less than a year later. She is currently studying for a doctorate in Bible studies, has launched a ministry program and hosts the midweek Rise Up podcast focused on biblical leadership. Mrs. Kirk also acts and models, and has a faith-based clothing line. Although the children and the couple's home life are regular fixtures on her social media pages, they never publish images showing their children's faces. Charlie Kirk, 31, a controversial figure in U.S. political discourse, had been hailed by many as the future of American conservatism with a knack for energizing young conservatives. By mobilizing the youth vote, he was an instrumental organizer in Trump's mega coalition and helped return him to the White House for a second term. Kirk was a strong supporter of gun rights, vehemently opposed abortion, was critical of transgender rights and promoted false claims about COVID-19. His views were polarizing on the college campuses, where he held large events, and his provocative speeches would draw crowds of vocal opponents as well as fans. Kirk's supporters said he was relatable and understood their concerns. But his views drew fierce liberal criticism, with his detractors said his rhetoric hurt people, especially those in the LGBT community. Young fans and critics debate Charlie Kirk's political legacy. Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University during Turning Point USA's The American Comeback Tour, a speaking engagement that took him to several college campuses throughout the U.S. He was shot during his viral Prove Me Wrong debate while taking a question about gun violence and transgender people in the U.S. Trump has announced that he will award Kirk a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor a president can bestow, describing his friend and ally as a giant of his generation and a champion of liberty. The U.S. president said that Mrs. Kirk is absolutely devastated. Turning Point USA, the organization Charlie Kirk founded when he was 18 years old, also referred to its co-founder as a martyr and pioneer. Charlie was the ideal husband and the perfect father. Above all else, we ask you to pray for the Kirks after the incomprehensible loss they have suffered, the organization said in a statement to the BBC on Thursday. JD Vance flew to Salt Lake City, Utah, on Thursday to retrieve Kirk's casket and transport it to Phoenix, Arizona, where Kirk's family lives, on the vice presidential aircraft, Air Force Two. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance traveled with Kirk's family and some of his friends to Arizona.